Welcome back to California Cooking. We're getting into the holiday spirit today. First, we're headed to the most charming European cafe for French Eclairs and Bistro fare. Then, I'm getting in the kitchen with one of my best friends. She shows me how to make one of her favorite Christmas cookies. And finally, a great breakfast idea for Christmas morning. It's a Panettone French Toast. The minute I walked into Violet Bistro in Westwood, I knew it was my kind of place. The owner, Dana Slatkin, was inspired by European cafes while she was living abroad. It is so charming. Violet is the perfect place for a cozy holiday get-together. Hi, Dana.
Hi, Jessica.
We're bellied up to the bar.
My favorite spot.
I know. I never have been here, and as soon as I walked in, I'm like, okay, this is my kind of place.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, this is so charming.
This is kind of a mashup of all my favorite restaurants in the world.
Okay, have you been taking mental notes of like places you've loved over the years?
Just 30 years.
Just 30 years of mental notes?
I have been wanting to do this since I was a teenager, since I spent my junior year abroad from UC Berkeley.
Okay.
I spent it in Italy, and I fell in love with the cafe culture there and the way people spent their days in cafes, and they came together, and neighbors would run into each other and families would come. I promised myself I was going to open a place like that in LA, in my hometown. I grew up in Westwood.
Okay, well then that's even more special.
And Westwood has a special place in my heart.
The vibe in here to me feels kind of Parisian. Maybe more, but I've never been to Italy, so I can't speak to it. But is it a kind of just a European vibe?
It's definitely a European vibe, but with a French flair.
Now, choosing the menu, how was that? Was that again mental notes over the decades of things you wanted on a menu?
Mental notes and the result of many years of French classical cooking training.
Yourself?
Yes, I spent a year cooking in France.
Oh,
that's where the whole French thing comes in, and I really wanted to marry French and California cuisine.
Now it's making sense with your time in cooking school why there is a little cooking school upstairs off the back patio here. What have you heard from people who've tried the cooking school?
It's any reason to gather around food. And what could be better?
I'm gonna try my hand at, I think, the quintessential French eclair, right?
Yes.
That's what I'm gonna try to do?
Yes, it's one of those classics.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Okay.
But you will learn.
Okay, class is in session.
That is right.
Teacher Jessie.
Yes,
I'm in
that's
good
right.
hands. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Good. I love your kitchen.
Welcome to my office, which is the
fabulous.
most beautiful office in LA, I think. Yeah, we have a lot of fun here. Our intention here is to inspire the home cook, to grow out of your comfort zone, to learn something new.
So you know what else we need in life is an eclair. I mean, who's turned down an eclair?
I don't know.
We don't want to meet
I've
them.
met yet.
I know.
No one that's coming in here. First thing that we're actually going to do with an eclair is do the filling, the pastry cream.
Okay,
because
get that
you need
set
to
up.
let it chill.
Got it.
So let's do that first.
Okay.
This is whole milk with vanilla extract, or actually vanilla paste. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the egg yolks, and this is sugar and here's my little trick. It's a little bit of a cheat, but it works every time, is I put some cornstarch in with our sugar just to ensure that the pastry cream is going to be nice and thick.
Okay.
And here, I'm going to allow
let's see.
So we're going to whisk the egg yolks and sugar and cornstarch until it becomes pretty smooth. You keep whisking, and I'm going to pour just a little of the milk in with the vanilla bean because we're going to temper it. So we're just going to put
so we don't want scrambled eggs, right?
I'm just going to pour a little bit more at a time. Keep whisking. You're doing great. Movement from the shoulder. You're a machine. You're an animal. You can do this. You're a powerful woman. I am honored to be in the kitchen with you today. We're going to pour this back into the pot.
Okay.
Now we're going to stir. Continue to whisk over a flame. And we're just going to do it a little bit, and then we're actually going to substitute the whisk for a wooden spoon because you don't want it to get too frothy.
Okay. That happened so fast. You're right.
So let's bring that off the heat. Let's bring this over the bowl, and what we're going to do is we're going to put it through
the sieve here.
The sieve here.
Yep. I made custard, Jesse.
You did make, well, you did, absolutely.
I did.
Now the last thing that we want to do is mix in a little bit of butter. So this is 1 tablespoon of butter. But look how smooth and gorgeous
Oh
this
my
is.
gosh.
For the dough,
Yes.
it's pâte à choux. It's very light dough. We actually do, like you mentioned before, cook it on the stove top. And so right here, what I'm doing is I'm boiling water, salt, and sugar with our butter. And as soon as the butter is dissolved and the water is boiling, we'll reduce the heat and we'll add the flour right on the stove top and we'll mix. And it happens very quickly.
Yeah.
So you mix on the stove, and once it has formed and got a little smooth, we'll bring it over to this bowl where we will then use this mixer.
Okay.
And we will add our eggs. And then once the eggs are added, we're gonna have our dough, and then we'll pipe our eclairs. So I'll do one and then you do one.
Okay.
And so my approach here, what I like to do is I just do about 5 to 6 little squeezes. Little squeezes. Perfect.
Is that okay?
It's perfect.
Yes.
They take about 30 minutes or so
Okay.
in the oven, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna set the oven to 425 degrees.
All right.
It's pretty high.
Yeah.
But we're gonna do that for about 15 minutes.
Okay.
And then we're gonna lower the oven to 375 for another 15 minutes or so, or until they're done.
Okay, thank goodness you pre-baked.
Well, we don't
Because-
have, I mean, you're a busy woman.
We can't
What are we gonna
wait
do?
for eclairs.
Here's the pastry cream. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take the eclair, where you can choose which side you'd like to fill from, and you're just going to lovingly pop it in there and give it a squeeze. So you just squeeze until it's full.
Yep.
And there you go.
Yep.
Now, traditionally, you know, eclairs have a chocolate ganache on the top.
Yes, they
And you want to
do.
use a ganache because you don't want it to get too hard. And
Dunk.
What we're going to do is dunk, like so.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Beautiful. Now this
Look
is your
at that.
traditional chocolate eclair.
Yeah, however.
Just for fun.
You
And
got
since
something
it's-
up your
and since
sleeve.
it's winter, and since it's
Yes.
the holidays.
Yes.
And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna make chocolate s'mores eclairs.
Ooh, yes.
And all we're gonna do is we're gonna put some marshmallows on top of this. And I always just put the marshmallows on first by
Okay.
hand, just to make sure, well,
They
because I'm a
stick.
control freak, to
Yeah.
be honest. And then we're gonna sprinkle on some of these graham cracker crumbs. And you don't have to add additional chocolate, but I like just a couple more. This is some shaved chocolate or
Yeah.
chocolate chunks.
Look how cute these are,
But come on,
Jesse.
get out of town with these, right?
We made eclairs.
Oh,
Cheers
this
and
is
happy
something.
holidays, Jesse.
happy holidays to you.
Hi, Chef Brittany.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good. You know, I was talking to Dana. She's like, you know what I'm most proud of? It's women owned and operated.
Yep.
Dana owns it.
Yeah.
You operate it
Yep.
in the kitchen.
Yeah.
What is that like? Is
And
that-
my sous chef is a
Really?
female as well. So we
Yeah.
have a lot of our dishwasher is female. So we've got a lot of strong women in the kitchen.
Amazing.
Yeah.
There are
nice.
quintessential dishes when you think of a French bistro, though, right? Things that you have to have
100%.
on the menu. French onion soup.
Yeah.
I mean, if that wasn't on the
no-brainer.
menu, people would
Yeah,
throw
yeah.
down their
It would
napkin
look
and walk
like,
out.
Why are you
Yeah.
doing this? So ours is actually a mushroom broth instead of a beef broth
Okay.
because we like to lighten it up a bit.
Yeah.
And it actually, the mushroom stock that we make for this soup, the mushrooms and the celery and onions that we use to make
Yeah.
and cook those, we mix with spinach and garlic and Parmesan to make it kind of like a Rockefeller style, and it turns into this dish. So these are a marriage.
A marriage of the same flavors, if you will.
Yes, yes.
Okay, but now, are snails in there?
No. So there you go.
Good.
California
Good
likes
is
their
how I-
vegetables, you know? So they're called champignons a la Antoine's because
Okay.
Antoine's in New Orleans is where
Oh, look at
Oysters
this.
Rockefeller started.
Delicious, kind of
Steaming.
gooey, cheesy,
Yeah.
buttery breadcrumb
Yes.
situation.
Yes.
Oh yeah, don't miss the snail one bit. That's really good.
This is our spinach salad. So we always have a salad les épinards on the menu.
Now,
which-
what does that mean?
Spinach salad. Is spinach
It's a
salad.
fancy French way of saying spinach. When you think of a French bistro, you think of the lovely steak, the sauce.
Yes. This is our steak au poivre. So right now we're using a hanger steak. We're using the pans that we cook the steak in to make the sauce a la minute. So we never
Okay.
have just sauce lying
Right.
around if anyone wants extra sauce.
Yeah.
We have to make the sauce every single time.
Okay, come on now. Brittany, this is so good. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
I love Violet so much I want to move in. And Dana perfected every little detail, and the food was delicious. Coming up, a Christmas morning breakfast that's both festive and easy. It's a Panettone French Toast. But first, I'm baking cookies with one of my dearest friends. That's coming up next. You know those friends who may not live close, but when you see them, it's like no time has passed at all? Well, Nikki is one of those friends. We met over 20 years ago when we were working at Nickelodeon, and we've been the best of friends ever since. She's literally the hardest working woman I know. She loves her family deeply, and she just so happens to be a fabulous cook. So we make one of her favorite Greek Christmas cookies. Take a look. Nikki!
Hi!
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Nikki is one of my best friends in the world. I love her so much. We've known each other, let's see, 21 years now?
About that.
And we met in Orlando when we were working at Nickelodeon back in the day. And what I think is so great is when you have a friend, because Nikki and I, we haven't lived in the same state for 20 years, but we still, maintain a friendship and our families hang out.
When we get together, it's like no time has passed. We just pick up where we left off, so it's really fun.
Ari has said this to me on more than one occasion. He's like, you need to be more like Nikki. And he says that in a very, and I'll tell you why. He says that in a very complimentary way because you are the biggest go-getter of anyone I've ever met in my life. Like Nikki is the person that's like, I'm gonna go and do that. And then she goes and does it. She's like running an empire right now in Connecticut.
It's not so easy, but it is, for me, it's fun. It's a big challenge and I love it, so.
Now you started a YouTube cooking show.
We started that during the pandemic because all I was doing was cooking and baking anyway. And, a lot of my staff were not working, so it just seemed like let's just cook in our house and film it, and it worked out awesome because it was really fun. And I got to really showcase all these awesome recipes that my grandparents or my grandmother and my mother-in-law, they've written down, and now I've written them down for everybody to see and share.
Your mom and dad are from Greece. Your husband, Jimmy, was born in Greece. Your husband was born in Greece, right?
He was born here, but he lived in Greece too, yeah. His parents are from Greece, yeah.
When I think of Greek food, I think of Nikki Glakis, always.
Well, thank you.
And you're the reason why it's my favorite food, because you introduced me to it. Today, we're gonna make a cookie that I can't even pronounce, but what's it called?
So this is a Greek traditional Christmas cookie called melomakarona.
Melomakarona. I love this recipe for a couple of reasons, because when I was looking at it, I thought, oh my gosh, there's no butter, there's no eggs, and you use olive oil
Yes.
instead of butter.
So we could say it's healthy.
Exactly. I can't wait to make it. So walk me through the recipe.
This is actually, if you looked at it, pretty easy. Let's start with our dried ingredients. So for this recipe, we're gonna do 5½ cups of all-purpose flour sifted. So you have that ready. And you're gonna add, for the spice of this, we're gonna do 3/4 teaspoon of clove and 3/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. And then 1/2 tablespoon of baking soda. And then I just kind of give this a little toss together. We'll leave our dried ingredients on the side, and now we'll get started with our wet ingredients. So 2 cups of extra virgin olive oil. Next, we're gonna add 1/2 cup of sugar.
Okay.
So then next, we're just gonna do 1/2 cup of our cognac, and then clean hand, we're just gonna start whisking that around. You need to get all of the sugar to dissolve. And you'll feel it in your hand.
Nikki, this feels weird.
So weird. So do you see how when you're whisking this together, you see now it's like getting thick and it's turning a little bit paler color. So once we get that all dissolved just like this and that nice kind of thick consistency, now we're gonna add in our orange. So I have 1/2 cup of orange juice and then zest from 1 orange.
We haven't cooked together since our 20s.
Do you remember when I taught you how to make tzatziki?
Yes.
So now let's get started with you have all your flour.
Yes.
Just start adding that in. So basically, we're gonna make these so that we can put them in a liner of a cupcake liner.
Okay.
So you roll them into like a ball about this size, right? And then what you do is you kind of make it look more like potato.
Like a little baby potato.
Then we're gonna smush it down a little bit. So now our baked potatoes kind of oblong like that. Then you have your butter knife that I told you. So I'm just gonna do 3 lines and then diagonal, 2 like that.
Oh, like a crisscross.
And then just down on your baking sheet, on your parchment. So that's your cookie, and they don't really spread a lot. So, you know, you could do 3 rows on this.
Okay, and then once you get going, it's like an assembly line.
Right. I could talk you through the nuts and the syrup, yeah. 2 cups of walnuts, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. So you just grind that up. That goes on top after we soak our cookies in the syrup.
So Nikki, one of the, I think, cool parts about this cookie is after they come out of the hot oven, we're gonna pour some syrup over the top.
So we're gonna make a syrup. We're gonna use 1 1/4 cup of water, 2 cups of sugar, and 1 cup of honey. So this is our nice, sweet, I'm using Greek honey. And we're gonna cook this until our sugar has completely dissolved. And for today's purposes, we're gonna soak our cookies in the cold syrup with the hot cookie. So basically now we have our hot cookies that I kind of lined up on this cool baking sheet. And I'm gonna take our cold syrup and you just pour it on top.
Okay.
Yep, you wanna get it all over the cookies. And you're gonna see, once you get this all over, in about 20 minutes, the syrup will be completely soaked. So now that they've really soaked up all the syrup, we're gonna take one, put it right on our little cookie liners here. You can do festive ones for the holidays. And then you're gonna top it with our walnut, cinnamon, and sugar. So about, like, I guess half a teaspoon, like that.
Ooh, look at that.
That's good.
Nikki, these are so good and honey-y.
You like them?
Mm-hmm.
I hope you make them this year.
Well, you helped me make 3 dozen of them, so I'm on my way. I love you, Nikki. Merry Christmas.
I love you too. Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Bye.
That was so much fun getting into the kitchen with Nikki, even virtually. And be sure to check out Nikki's cooking show on YouTube called Nikki's Modern Mediterranean. Coming up, here's a recipe that you'll want to make this Christmas. It's a holiday-inspired French toast. That's coming up next. A couple of years ago, I showed you guys something that we make in my family every Christmas morning. It's our Eggnog French Toast. And we've been making it for years, but this time I thought I'd elevate it a bit with a Panettone, which is a sweet Italian holiday bread. Here's what I did. You've got an important job.
What?
You're gonna crack eggs.
Okay. I'll crack egg for you.
Can you do it?
Yeah, I know how to crack
No
egg.
shell. Instead of regular like challah, or sometimes we'd use raisin bread, I'm gonna use the Italian sweetbread panettone. What's so great about this is Christmas Eve, you get this all situated, pop it in the fridge overnight, and Christmas morning you just pop it in the oven and you'll have eggnog panettone French toast. Look at how beautiful. So in here I see dried fruits and all kinds of yummy stuff. So now, watch out, I'm gonna cut. So you're gonna cut pretty decent size. Before we put in our mixture for our French toast, I'm gonna take a stick of butter, and I have a big baking dish here, and we're gonna just make sure the whole thing is buttered. But you've got a job to do, mister. So I'm gonna lay the bread in our buttered dish and just stack it kinda like fallen dominoes sort of thing. To our eggs, our eggnog. Now you whisk a little bit of orange zest. I'm gonna put some vanilla, even though there's all the flavorings in here. A little more can't hurt. You can do more cinnamon. Because the bread has some sweetness, and so does the eggnog, I'm just gonna add a tiny bit of sugar. Are you ready to pour this on? Okay, ready to dump?
Yeah, I'm ready.
And all of this is gonna soak.
That looks yummy.
Right? It's gonna soak into the panettone. So now we just kind of press everything in.
That was only one thing.
We pop it in the fridge 2 hours to overnight. Okay, my French toast was in the fridge for 2 hours or overnight, whatever works best. And now I'm gonna pop it in an oven, 350, for about 45 minutes. There we go. So almost before it's done baking, I'm just gonna sprinkle it with slivered almonds, sliced almonds, technically. All right, in. So our eggnog panettone French toast is out of the oven, and because it's soaked in all the liquid, it's puffed up. The almonds have toasted. So of course, just to make it extra pretty, some powdered sugar. And there you go. Breakfast is served. That panettone French toast bake was so good. I think my mom, dad, and brothers are totally gonna like this new take on our family recipe. Well, that does it for us. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week. Hi, cutie. How are you? Oh, is this Miss Zoe? Hi, Zoe. You were like half that size the last time I saw you.
I know.
Great.
She's taller
You're
than
taller
me.
than Mama. That's crazy.